Welcome, everyone. On tonight's show, we have Harmony and Jason Harris and Rabbit from Witch Division Paranormal Investigations out of South Carolina. We're going to talk to them about the paranormal and witches, something that we haven't touched on yet. You can find them on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and we'll be talking to them in a few minutes. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening, Aaron. How we doing?
Good.
Tried to balance hitting the mute button there, and I didn't quite get it.
I thought that's what it was. Shoot, I'll just start talking with it muted. I don't care.
Right? No, what? Can't hear you. Yeah.
So how you been?
Good, man. Good. How about you?
Been doing good. It was a good day, good week. Have Gina graduates from college this weekend.
I know, that's so
family
awesome.
start coming in, and yeah, it's great. You know, I'm proud of her for what she's done.
Yeah, heck yeah. It's been a lot of hard work for her.
Yeah. You know, this past weekend, we got to hang out.
Yes, that was fun.
Went into northern Colorado and went to a couple cemeteries, and then just a quick investigation.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know?
that Bingham Hill Cemetery, that was a lot of fun. Really, really cool place. Kind of
Super cool.
secluded and really old graves. A lot of Hispanic and children graves. At that one. But it's really cool to see how they're starting to restore it and
Right.
salvaging some of these old tombstones and then, replacing others. It's really cool that I think some of the homeowners that live next to it have kind of taken that over. And
Yep. You know, they could let you in on the other end of the cemetery, so it's not such a walk. Not that that's the big deal, but the barn owl screeching when you come out at dark or
that was cool. Yeah.
That's cool. That never heard a barn owl, so I wasn't sure what it was. You know, started asking some people at the shop, and I'm like, okay, what is this?
Yeah, like we heard it, we knew it was a bird of some kind. It was just figuring
Yeah.
out what the heck it was because you could hear them talking down the valley, like one right
Yeah, that
near
was so
us,
cool.
and then one probably a half mile or a mile down. They were just chatting back and forth. It was fun.
Yeah,
And all the
pretty cool
bats
place.
too.
Yeah, once it start getting dark, the bats come out. You just
Yep.
don't see. You see them here, but more midsummer. You know, it's
Yep.
still cold for those guys. So
Yeah, seeing on my side of town, I don't get to see them a whole lot because we're kind of more out in the prairie. Not a lot of places for them to roost. So
right. Um, Tonight we have Witch Division Paranormal Investigations out of South Carolina. Should be a good show.
yeah, I've been looking forward to getting them on. I think they've got a really cool perspective on how they do paranormal investigations. So I've been anxious to, talk to them and hear how they go about things.
Yep. So we're going to bring them in. I need to step away for just a minute. If you can handle that and get them going, and then I'll be back.
Absolutely. Hey guys, how we doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Glad to have you guys on tonight.
Awesome. Excited to be here.
Absolutely.
So, Witch Division, tell me a little bit, about the origins of that.
Go ahead.
Okay, I can talk about it. Well, we are witches who are paranormal investigators. We have background in demonology, and we help people solve ghost problems, basically spiritual issues in their homes. So that's basically what we are about. We're about helping people.
And Rabbit brings a different aspect, not being a witch, and so he keeps us with the paranormal, and we always in paranormal investigating first. And I mean, just we're usually called in when Nobody else can explain what's going on.
Right.
Like, we prayed, we did this, we did that.
We called in a priest.
We called in a psychic.
This.
We called this person, and I need answers. And then that's when they call us, and we are glad to be there and glad to help. I mean, that's our main goal.
Yeah, so you two, your specialty is witchcraft in the occult. Then, Rabbit, what do you consider your specialty to bring to be? What do you bring to the team?
Pretty much. Well, one, I'm big into history, so I like to dig up history, bring up like what possible relevance and facts it can bring, and also folklore. So if there's any type of folklore going on around the area, I like to delve into that and see if anything matches up to whatever's going on with the investigation that we're doing.
Fact checker. He's our fact checker.
Yeah.
He's the guy that
great researcher.
Absolutely. That's what he brings to this team, and we are glad to have him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely a great asset to us.
We're a history-based team as well. We do so much digging in, especially around here in Cheyenne. The history of these buildings that we go into, and it's been invaluable. And it's so cool when you start learning some stuff about the building. Then you go on an investigation, and you can immediately your spirit box, answer that just directly correlates with something that happened 100 years ago. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes we even make sure that he doesn't give us the information until after the investigation, so that we can go back and say, okay, well, did this happen? Did this name correspond with? And that's actually our last investigation. Jason Newman wasn't with us, but we was asked to go with another paranormal investigator to investigate
in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
And I mean, it was all about the history. I mean, just everything led back to the history of the original reason why we was there for the case.
Yeah, we were there
details, but it's a long story. But it was all about the history and
why this episode happened and why the family was going through what they were.
And we always do that with every investigation beforehand. And once again, that's what Rabbit's bringing to the table is that fact checking, that folklore,
a deep dive.
He is good at his folklore,
going down a rabbit hole. So
and sometimes he does. No, sometimes.
I'm guilty of that too, man. Oh my God. There's sometimes I'll, be just going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole on Reddit or some of these conspiracy sites.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, it's 3 a.m. I'm like, man, I got to get up in like 4 hours for work. Not read about the 9/11 conspiracies. And you know what I mean?
But, exactly. The next thing you know, So, I mean, that's the whole thing. And so we share the workload. And that's another big thing with
we work
having
together.
A good teammate, because we've been a part of several groups, and I'm not saying anything about any of them, but I mean, it just never worked out until now.
Sometimes it doesn't click, investigative styles are different, right? And just, they may be good people, but just not someone you want to spend 8 hours in a dark building with, right?
That's right.
Exactly. And it's awesome. And kind of interested in your investigations as well. I'm just learning about. Harmony's been in touch with you. I haven't. I don't know much about you, but I mean, some of the stuff that you talk about, I'm definitely going to check that out. And
we love the cemetery stuff.
When you're talking about going to the old cemetery, we just visited one that had the old cedar wood headstones. I mean, it wasn't
nice,
but I mean,
and I love to study like the cemetery tombstones, and I love that stuff. So if you come across something you don't know for sure, symbols, I'll probably be able to.
We're talking about the symbols.
Awesome.
On the headstone. I mean, like there's. Have you ever seen the handstones that the God's hand shaking, whatever?
Yes.
But that they hold out different fingers to mean different things.
I did not.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so some of them will have their pinky out, some of them will have their forefinger, middle finger, blah blah. And they all mean different things, and that's why some have lambs, and that's why some have other animals,
like the tree,
rabbits,
like the tree trunk, for
tree
example,
trunk?
means that their life had ended short.
Yes.
So they wanted people to understand why they're grieving for their loved one. And every tombstone back from the 1800s, they are telling stories. People just, oh, this is just a beautiful picture. No, back then, that was the way they expressed themselves regarding what they've gone through, what they're mourning,
what that person was,
or what they meant to them. Right.
And
I'll be darned. I'd never heard that before.
Absolutely.
Headstones turned in the other direction, not facing the sunset, actually means that they was a bad person or possibly had done something wrong. So they turned their name and headstone the other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of meanings when investigating cemeteries, and knowing these things is a part of witchcraft, I would say, and a part of it is they just know that they just know when we walk in the cemetery. They just know. I mean, like the minute we walk in the cemetery, they're just like, the witches are here.
When we go into a cemetery, we usually, as a witch, we usually leave an offering before we go in. So that way we are protected, because a lot of people say, oh, I have all this protection, but they're forgetting
ask for the gatekeeper.
Yeah, you got to ask the gatekeeper. Now, if it's in a church cemetery, then the person who is the oldest grave, that's who you would go to give your offering or ask for protection.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's very fascinating. I mean, it's all in different cultures. If you look it up, you will be surprised on how many times you hear that you need to be protected when you go in there. You need to show respect, leave offerings, things like that, and people don't realize that.
Can I ask you that? Have you ever left a cemetery and just felt sick or something, a pain or headache?
You know, honestly, I haven't done a whole lot in cemeteries. Just
any building. How about that? Any
yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The paranormal hangover, or middle of the investigation. In fact, I just had it happen a couple days ago. I was with my buddy at a building we investigate, and just, it was like the whole room got heavy and then just instantly nauseous.
That's never good. That's a lot of negative energy.
Something you would like to do is check out our YouTube, and we have a cleansing, a sage cleansing that we do before and after.
And what I suggest to people is look up Florida water cologne. Yes. And what you can do is you can anoint the back of your neck 3 times with a cross. And what that does is it stops from anything, any negative entity, any attachment. It will make sure that you are protected.
We do it on the forehead, nape of our neck.
Well, I do it on the nape of my neck.
Back of the spine, nape of the spine. Yes, that's in the stomach. That's where they like to
attach all in those areas.
That's where they go.
Kind of the core of your body, right?
Neck, I go to a stomach. Well, I can't get to a stomach. I go to a spine. I go, and once they can't get to those places, then they can't affect you.
Gotcha. So one thing I've always kind of been curious about, and we've, like we were talking about it when we were, walking around in the cemeteries the other day. Why do y'all feel that cemeteries, contain such a large amount of spirits? I mean, I know, there's the common sense, all the bodies there, right? But there's a lot of people who, including myself, are confused that, feel that the spirit probably moves on, right? As soon as, death happens. And then, so why are spirits still in the cemeteries?
Well, there's a lot of theories on that, honestly. It could be portals. A lot of spirits use cemeteries as portals, believe it or not. I was talking to a medium friend not too long ago, and she's like, there are a lot of portals, and there are a lot of negative energies that go through them portals. Okay. And they will go after the weakest person. When you go into a cemetery, they will go after the weakest person. That's why it's important to make sure that you wear a hat, that you have protection. Of course, leave an offering for the gatekeeper, because they're going to protect you from those situations. And the gatekeeper, like I said, is across all spiritual cultures. So it's very important. People don't realize that. A lot of knowledge has been lost over the century because, of our religious backgrounds and how we were raised. And
that's just like, and how many religions have you seen where everybody wears black during a funeral
Right.
across the world.
Most, right.
Just about
Right.
most.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
most.
there's a reason, because that way they can't follow you home. That way they can't attach themselves to you.
Right.
Yes. So they wonder why witches wear black in a cemetery. That's
For
why we
me
wear black.
personally, as a
Or
witch,
we wear protection.
I was taught when you leave a cemetery and to go a different way home, so nothing will follow you, especially if
Exactly.
you didn't leave an offering or anything like that, because they'll get in your vehicle, they'll go with you.
They will travel.
Yeah.
They could havoc for days. Now, generally, life takes over, and just you yourself kind of just brush it off, banish it off, not even realizing this. Just, you know what? Okay, I got a little sick. It spooked the hell out of me, but I'm okay.
It could be something
Yeah,
just
so-
came home with you for a
But
little while.
sometimes,
Yep.
what if you can't? Or what if that one time they're just too strong?
Right.
So you do have to be careful, and please, and as our slogan is, happy safe hunting, is that reason mainly just because paranormal investigating is not fun. It's just not safe.
You have to
It's
be
really
careful.
not. I mean,
you
you
really have to be
careful.
careful, and
Yeah.
not to be in a negative sense, you know.
Our friend
but-
Rabbit, we actually investigated his 150-year-old pecan plantation family's house,
Mhm.
Wow.
where a woman had passed away freezing to death upstairs bedroom.
Mhm.
And did we not? I mean, you can check it out on our YouTube. I mean, REM pod activity, furniture being moved. We got it on camera.
Mhm.
Just motion sensors going off. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Apparition
Yeah,
shape in the window.
And
Yes.
when we're outside on there, you can actually look up to the second floor window, and you can actually see her standing
That's
in the window with the REM pod lighting up behind her.
Oh, and
Wow.
the shadow figure that came into
Yeah,
the window.
that's what Rabbit was just saying. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a perfect silhouette, and we kid you
Unbelievable.
not, it
Like I
was
said,
unbelievable.
Don't take our word for it. Check it out on our YouTube.
The most we had our friend with us, and he's Ron Stokes, and he just could not believe it. He was like, "Wow, this is amazing. This is," and he's a
said
deacon.
he said that was the most paranormal experience he had in like the past 4 to 5 years.
Yeah,
He was like,
it was remarkable. Yeah,
he was like, I'm ecstatic. I can't believe it.
Mhm.
So you said Rabbit, brings, the history and research, stuff like that to the table. How did you guys link up with Rabbit? Or Rabbit, how did you link up with them?
Actually, it was actually with our old team, Spur, Stokes Paranormal Investigation Research. We were part of that, and that 150-year-old pecan house was my brother-in-law's family's house. So that's where we met, because I invited him over and did a couple of things. Did a couple of investigations there, and just over time.
We
Yeah,
did no, Clemson.
It was Clemson.
Yeah,
Witch.
Clemson, yeah. And then we met, did a couple of investigations at cemeteries like the Old Stone Church in Clemson. That was pretty fun. I actually got to sit on it, Witch's grave, because I was like, I'm looking for evidence. I'm just going to jump in and do it.
I think it was, they said that you're not supposed to do that. And he was like, I'll go in.
You're like, okay.
Yeah.
And we were by the most busiest roadway too. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those that, like, if you're not supposed to do it, I'm one of those, like,
I'm gonna do it.
Well, I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm
mean,
guilty of that too. It's
Yeah.
We'll have everyone like, man, that room feels weird. I don't want to go in there. I'm like, I'll go in and check it out. Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, it's me. I'm going in right now. And I'm like,
Oh,
just
That's
for a
me.
second.
Yeah.
I laid on a 120-year-old bombing table in a funeral home.
At the Holiday House.
Holiday
yeah.
house.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And married South
Yeah.
Carolina. That was awesome.
We actually got video of them possibly moving or tucking in the blanket like they were
The sheet.
the sheet.
Wow.
Yeah. On the
We
embalming
actually
table.
possibly got that
That
on video.
was
It's on our
wild.
YouTube, but still, it's up to you if you believe it or not. But
Uh-huh.
the only 3 people in that room, it's me, Harmony, and another investigator with us, Maria.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was great great
It
investigation.
was a great investigation.
We
Yeah.
plan on going back there and
Mhm.
staying the night, hopefully, actually this time.
I hope
Nice.
so.
They
Yeah.
they
Nice.
were in the middle of renovations, and so now they have the upstairs ready for like
And
a
they do
B&E,
tours and
a
everything.
haunted B&E,
Oh,
I guess you'd say. It's in Marion, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Raven Paranormal. I'm sorry.
It's just a holiday house. We'll just
Holiday
call it
House,
that.
South Carolina. That's all you got to look up. And
so my
yeah.
question for you guys is: were you raised in a family that was witches? I don't know how to go about that the correct way, but
I'll let
I'm
Harmony
not
answer
big on that
first.
side, so I don't know a bunch of that. Or is this something that you started practicing later in life?
Actually, I was raised in a witch family.
Okay.
So, and they were into herbalism and old wise tales and fortune telling. I mean, I could remember my grandmother, and I was just a little girl at 5 years old, and she would talk about spirits, and she would do the home remedies, of course. And most of my family are practicing witches. So it's very fascinating when I talk about these things. But we were raised up in the Catholic home, but that other side, that's how we were introduced to witchcraft. And only certain family members, in my family practice witchcraft, including myself. I'm actually one of the first pagans in our family. So I run a lot of Facebook pages like Wiccan and Pagan Life, Simply Witch Official on IG. And then I have the Moon Goddess Enchantments, Moon Goddess Witch Enchantments, and also the Hearth Goddess Witch. So, I mean, I've got so many people that follow me all the time, and I help so many people with it because I was brought up on natural witchcraft. I was born up on, raised up on spirituality and to be open-minded, and I practiced witchcraft. I remember, my first time dealing with spirits. I remember, learning this from my family members who taught me. So
and more of a earthly type practice instead of a occult type practice.
Correct.
Okay.
I am a pagan, so I mean, I'm also a Wiccan priestess. So I help marry people that are in the craft or the Wiccan religion. I've been, like I said, I've been in the pagan religion for over 10, 15 years now. I mean, it's been a long time, probably longer than that. I mean, I think I started the pagan or the Wiccan religion probably before a couple years before practical magic and the craft came out and all that. And so, yeah, I mean, I've worked with a lot of good witches and, and I'm keep going. I'm a tarot reader, oracle reader. I mean, I do it all, and I help people with situations that go on in their love life and whatever else,
And
Jason, how about you? Were you raised that way, or did you start
no,
practicing
I
when
wasn't
you
raised
met?
with much of any religion at all. I mean, I never went to church. Our family never said grace or anything like that. I had my first paranormal experience probably about 10 to 12 years old, and it was pretty frightening. And but I always ran the streets, always on the go, survivalist. My dad was a Vietnam vet, always in the woods, always. And I can honestly say that I noticed things in the woods that most people probably wouldn't. Like, I hate to sound it, it's gonna sound a little fruity, but like fairy, like top plots in the woods or mystical something. And I was always into the hunting, always in the wild. And then we met, and then our first date was actually in the cemetery. Yeah, we went to a cemetery. Nice. And we just walked around the cemetery
on a Friday.
On a Friday 13th.
Nice.
Let's go to the cemetery. And
cool.
So it just spiraled from there. And I mean, I've grown since then. Actually, I have taken more of I want to say Viking or Thor kind of religion.
Nordic, yeah.
I don't know how to say it. No, I'm studying folklore and other stuff. once you open that door, it's just no closing it. It's just and especially being married to a witch, and I mean, you just can't get away with anything. I mean, you can't go in the middle of the night and drink a quarter cup of milk out without her knowing. I mean, just put the lid back on and shut the fridge. You know.
So how did you?
I'm always awake.
The fairy thing really intrigues.
So
the fairy thing really intrigues me.
Go for it, man.
Oh shoot, the fairy thing really intrigues me because I've listened to some other podcasts. Dave Schrader's the one that sticks out to my head because Dave has gone to Ireland and that.
Oh yeah.
And
heard of him.
You know, they go on these tours and they take these people, and he's like, the road will go straight, and there's this tree, and they will build a road around it if they think that there's a fairy that lives there. And I was like, that's really cool. So like the fairy thing, we've talked about it before with someone on.
Yeah.
That I want to do some more research on that. Like the fairy stuff is really cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I have seen it. I swear I have seen it. I have walked up on places and just been like, it looks like a miniature village.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of nowhere. I've been tracking for days. Unbelievable. In creek beds. That's where you find them, creek beds. Stuff like that.
Nice.
And heavy growth.
Yeah, they love that kind of
absolutely.
stuff.
Yes, they love that.
I'm actually a Celtic pagan, so
Okay.
I understand. You definitely don't want them in your house, to be honest with you, because they love to cause mischief.
Yes.
Mhm.
And some people sometimes think that it's paranormal, and it's really sometimes
They have
the fae.
Yep.
The little people,
Yeah.
the little
Yeah.
folk. Mhm.
Jason, what was your question?
Oh no, we can keep going on the fae, and then I'll bring it up because this is interesting.
Yeah.
So have either of you ever had any direct encounters with fae, or just kind of coming across there?
We believe we've seen one.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew a lady from Tennessee, and she lived in towards the mountain area or something right in that. No, she lived in the Smoky Mountains. Okay. So she was one of my amens on there. I'm not going to say her name, but it's on my Hearth Goddess page. And she was so much into the fae. She would send me pictures and videos of them. And it was the wildest thing I've ever seen. And I mean, she sent me one that was just like red.
I could not debunk it.
Yeah, we couldn't debunk it.
Explain it at all.
I've got a little fairy village in my yard that I put up during the summertime because they're very active in the summer from Beltane and on. So I put up a little thing and I leave them offerings outside. But the thing is that I'll leave like buttered bread or water or something, and they've got a little house going on in a little place. And I've seen things fly across there. I can never catch them though. So I'm deciding I'm going to put a camera out there and I'm going to make people believe me because I'm telling you, it's not bugs, it's orbs and different things like that. I mean, it's wild, but they can pretend they're mimics. They can cause a lot of mischief. Yeah.
They will present themselves as something else.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. And so, you might have a fairy in your yard and you not know it.
Yeah. They could come into your home.
It's like the same thing with people always talking about on Facebook. Well, I've never seen a ghost. And I'm like, well, 9 times out of 10 you have.
You just don't know it.
How many times have you said, oh, well, is that so-and-so? And looked back and said, oh, well, they're gone.
I thought somebody was there.
Yep.
Right.
That was ghost.
Every time you say, I feel like I got something on the shit, the side of my eye. Yeah.
Peripheral.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are just, so busy going on with their day. Like me and Aaron were talking about that
That's
the
what
other
I said.
day. Is that everybody is just so distracted and preoccupied with a much busier life nowadays. In a lot of, paranormal investigation is paying attention, right? You're kind of switching your brain on and, really, really kind of tuning in with your environment. And you're not doing that when you're walking down the street, right? You're tuned in on different things then.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Your day, what's going on, who's calling you,
Yeah.
where you got to go,
What you
I
gotta
gotta go
do
pick up
after
milk.
work,
Where did I park the car?
Right.
Yep.
No, I like the times that we're going out to investigate, because it's like you actually get to like just focus on one thing and get in tune with yourself and just be that,
Yeah, to me, it's relaxing. It really is, like, relaxing sprinkled with little bouts of excitement, right? Like,
that's right.
People ask us how we got into paranormal investigating. Paranormal investigating chose us. We had no intentions at all in becoming professional paranormal investigators.
No, we actually, it just happened. I had a lot of paranormal investigators reach out to me from Florida to Nevada, different places like that, and they were like, what can we do?
And once again, it came down to, because of our witchcraft experience and our, knowledge of the witchcraft. It's like, I've done everything. I've gone everywhere. I've talked to everybody. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's when we come in and we give them the answers. And it's just unbelievable. Every person we've ever residential case we've done, we're still in contact with. They still talk to us.
Absolutely.
One of them even started her witchcraft path. Well, not a Wiccan path, I should say.
Yeah.
She was just like, I was just so amazed by what y'all did. How'd you do it? We brought her a Rose of Jericho, which is the resurrection rose, to bless her home with. And that's how we roll. Honestly,
I definitely feel you do get, it kind of chooses you, like you said. Especially doing this podcast, talking with all these different people. It's like the ones that are actually, in the field doing serious investigations, they never have an origin story of just, I was interested, so I picked up a book, right? There's always that pivotal moment in their lives where something happened that had a huge impact on them. And from that point on, that is now my life, the paranormal.
Well, on that note, Rabbit, what was that moment for you?
I was actually living with my grandmother at the time in Virginia, and it was beginning of my it was into my freshman year in high school, going into my sophomore year. She had just bought a house from a widower whose wife had just passed away, and it just so happens it was in the house that she was buying, and it was old age, and every night, because I was like, I was always one of the last ones to go to bed, and the foyer in the front house, it was like granite slate type flooring, and every night around midnight, 1:00, I would hear what sounds like high heels on there, like somebody was coming around checking check on me, say, hey, what are you still doing up? You need to get to bed. And of course, I'm up at night in the watching TV on the computer. I'll get up, see nobody's there, and then so after that, it was pretty much, what else could there be besides just hearing footsteps? And that's what just like I said earlier, just going down that rabbit hole. And as I got older, I was in and out of paranormal. And what got me back into it was took a trip to Savannah, and I was in the Sorrel Reed House in Savannah, Georgia. Did one of their after hours investigations, and this was the first time I ever was touched by something, touched by a ghost or spirit. I was walking to where the other people in my group were, and they were on one side of the room, and I was in the other. I was walking towards them. Next thing I know, something just reached out, touched my back, said, "Hey, where are you going?" And to get my attention. And that really brought me back into doing more things in the paranormal.
Nice.
Right on.
Actually, we've never even heard that story. Thank you.
Yeah, that was the first.
Yeah, we've never even,
That's what we're here
you've
for.
never told us this story.
Yeah.
So,
We never even
Jason,
had-
you weren't
How'd you get into paranormal? Great story.
you weren't raised religious, Jason. So what sparked your interest in the occult side of things, and how did you go about, kind of starting to become an expert in that field?
I went really dark at first. I studied dark magic, voodoo, hoodoo, culturalistic rituals, and then I kind of just, instead of just practicing, I just started really studying and start researching, and then started kind of finding my own path as far as being able to separate that and be able to use it for good and use it for a positive reason and place it somewhere different and be able to educate people into what I've learned and experienced. It's been a journey. I ain't gonna lie. It's been a journey.
It sounds like it for sure. Yeah.
It is. People,
Being able to do some of the things that we do is sometimes overwhelming, and it's hard to separate and hard to deal with sometimes. And that's why I said earlier that some paranormal investigating can be very dangerous, and you got to be careful where you go and what you do and what you're messing with. And you got to go in there with a clear conscience, open mind, and be able to go. That's what I've learned over the years. As your question goes, like I said, it just kind of built into something else, and I learned to use it for positive.
Nice.
So y'all said you come in kind of when everyone else has failed, to put it bluntly. People that are experiencing something, they've asked for help and the help's not working. What would you consider one of your more impactful cases that you've had? And it can stay anonymized, right? Like, because I know a lot of what you guys do in homes.
All the people we deal with have given us our consent and signed waivers and said, we can use their names and their investigations in our videos and stuff.
We've had some doozies.
I was going to say we've had some doozies. Like a homeowner. I'm gonna go with Somerville. You go with Somerville? Okay.
We can go with Somerville.
Somerville. They wrote Bible scriptures on the 2x4s as the house that they were building was being framed. They had a pastor bury a Bible in a blessed Bible in the footsteps of the cement
home. Yeah, of the home.
Okay, but they never blessed the house. Actually, blessed the house. Okay, and then we believe that she had some kind of witchcraft or voodoo or something. We don't know for sure because we couldn't track her history back far enough. But she was clairvoyant. She was acceptable to spirits, and so she was like, well, we have all this stuff going on. It's odds, knocks, noises. She sent us videos. I talked to her for probably about 6 months before we even considered doing an investigation. And she said, well, hold on. Well, when I finally talked her into doing an investigation, she was like, hold on. I'm going to have my church pastor come to the house, do a house blessing on Thanksgiving, I believe.
I think it was right before Thanksgiving.
Right before Thanksgiving, or they was going to have a Super Bowl party and Thanksgiving or whatever.
Thanksgiving and the Super Bowl month.
So she wanted to wait till after that. Understood. Family issues. So she did. It all went down. Still was having problems.
Yeah.
She is I debunked. One of the things was knocking or pinging or chains rattling or something. Come to find out, she had wasp in her ductwork. Okay, so we debunked that.
That's a good one to debunk. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like that taken care of.
Allergic. No, the husband's allergic.
Yeah.
So like,
we saved him.
So we saved him from dying,
They also had a leaky
hot water pump.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
upstairs.
and we saved them from that
And
too.
so, because no, it was in the middle of the night, they would hear a tapping, and it was the dripping on the
dripping down
pan,
on, like the
catch
flashing
pan.
or
Yes, the catch pan in the bottom, but it was aluminum. Yeah, not aluminum, galvanized steel.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounded like, you know, you can imagine,
unlike someone
in the
tapping
middle of
on
the night.
something. Yeah.
Right.
And so yeah, I did debunk those. But no, some of the things she sent, growls,
scratches.
scratches.
Yeah, scratches.
Well, just
So we decided
possible orbs.
Yeah.
I still can't confirm the orbs or not. I'm not gonna say the orbs or not, but
right.
It's so hard, especially when they're caught on infrared.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying, orbs are so hard, especially
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
infrared security cameras.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, the noises, like I said, unexplained, like growls. While we were there investigating,
we brought another friend
the
with
medium.
us. She's also practicing witch.
She wanted a medium there,
so
and she's a practicing witch.
So we brought her there, and she was able to communicate with some of the spirits within the home. And of course, I was able to help her as well. And, you know, with this investigation, we ended up praying at the end, all of us did together, just to kind of give it a better energy flow. And it seems like they're doing pretty good. They still have a little bit of issues with the haunting. So, yeah.
But they're not afraid anymore. She's not afraid. We actually got her to ask the questions and use the spirit box and
nice
to get the answers. And we was like, well, we're not putting this out there, but I had a camera upstairs while we were videotaping, and I had it hooked up to the laptop and recording. And while we were sitting there, that we got a response upstairs that while we were downstairs, and which was a great evidence, unbelievable. And yeah, when she asked the question downstairs, we caught the response in the upstairs camera.
Like they were answering from upstairs. Yeah.
So on our YouTube, you check it out. And
yeah, we've been showing your YouTube channel here on the banner going. So
appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully go check out Witch Division's YouTube. Yeah, it looks like he stepped away. We'll bring him back in when he comes back on camera.
He is in the country, so
he lives in the country.
Yeah.
No worries.
All right. No, all good. Yeah, we've done some of that recently as well with like upstairs, downstairs stuff. In Denver at this great venue that we went to investigate.
Oh, wow.
Jason and Michelle went upstairs doing Estes, and Gina and I stayed downstairs. It seems that we were getting some communication between the two. Once we are able to link up those videos, we're going to see exactly what happened. But
oh, that's going to be awesome.
It seems that Jason was telling him to slam a door, and Gina's under Estes, and I freaked out because this door slammed next door to us. And
no.
I'm like, no, I swear we shut that when we came through it. So yeah,
and that's the thing. I mean, that's when me and her we're running to the door. Can I make this happen? Did this really happen?
Yeah, and I would have ran to the door, except it was in like the big room next to us, and I didn't want to leave Gina just under right there, you know. So
oh, no. Hey, you just sit here under Estes. I'm gonna bounce, right?
Oh, I love the Estes method. It's so fun.
We just started.
I love doing the Estes.
We certainly did. Yeah,
we're ready to put it on tape, I think.
Yeah, we're ready to try it out on one of our next videos.
We haven't done it on video yet, or put it on YouTube yet, but we are definitely.
Yeah, we had some weird stuff happen to us at a cemetery. Oh. It was Elmwood Cemetery in Columbia, South Carolina. And this place is known for a lot of haunted activity. So Rabbit and myself were in the back where a big mass grave is. You can tell about the mass grave.
The mass grave is from the TB pandemic in the 1800s from the Babcock Insane Asylum. Okay, so I can't count how many bodies. There is also another mass grave of the first settlers there in Columbia, South Carolina, that were moved for the railroad and the highway. Okay, so there's a big mound for that, and there are no markers, just numbers.
They just uprooted all these graves.
And there is another mass grave there,
so they could have a highway. And
but there's another mass grave there from 1979 to 1989 of all the people that donated their bodies.
Crazy.
Oh, geez.
Oh, okay.
All in the one spot.
They're in one spot. So you've got all the mass graves, and then you have these other graves from the Babcock Asylum, and then you have this white wall.
Yeah.
And inside of it, it's all the people all the way up all the way up to the 1980s who have donated their body to science. It is, when you walk inside of there, into this little fenced in area, it sounds like a dome inside, but there's no top on it. It's just the weirdest.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
This is some weird stuff. And when you walk in there,
8-foot vinyl fence.
Yeah,
that surrounds it.
Yeah.
There's a memorial. They got benches in there. It's really nice. It's kept. Nobody knows where it is. Most people just walk their dogs back there.
But they don't realize
they
it's
have
there.
no idea that it's there.
Yeah, it's behind the cemetery, which is really fascinating in itself because that cemetery.
It took me about 6 to 8 months to find the entrance to find out how to get back there.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yes.
We had to use a.
It's like no, you got to follow the railroad tracks, dirt road, and it's crazy.
It's crazy.
That is back there, and nobody knows.
Yeah, you have to have 4-wheel drive to get down this driveway, or at least you have to drive very slowly to get there. But it is right there in the back of the cemetery. So that's really, so when you get out of there, you're in the cemetery again. And there's.
So that's another thing we try to do as far as, witchcraft and paranormal investigators is find places like this and show people and let people know where these places are and to help get the stories told, because that's what we do. We go there, we ask them how they're doing, what they're doing. Are you happy here, etc.? We're always respectful with spirits. One of my greatest comments I love was, y'all sound like y'all talk to the spirits like y'all are at a family reunion. And I'm like, thank you. Yes, that's what we're after.
Well, that's right. I mean, most of them were human.
Yeah,
I mean, come on now.
Yep.
Right.
They want to be treated with respect just like you do.
They're not circus animals, We're not going to sit there and
clap your hands, knock on the wall, and
stomp
your feet.
No.
Yeah, and we always caveat our investigations, or begin our investigations with that. Look, we're not asking you to do tricks. We're trying to establish some ways, to best communicate with you. So we're going to be asking you to do stuff, but please don't. Yeah. So,
right.
Because it's hard. And then, some people get stuck in the loop of just, do something, right? Bang on a wall, bang on a door, bang on the floor.
Yep.
Let's
Can you touch me?
Let's
touch me? Yeah. Yep. Come on, man. I mean,
that's the best way to talk to them. Just like talk to them as if they're still alive.
Absolutely.
And that's like one. I think the best ways to get evidence. Just talk to them as if they're still alive. Just ask them, like, "How was your day?" And like talk to them like they were still alive.
Yeah.
Some of our best is.
I'd like to do a little promoting with some places we're going to plan to see.
Go
ahead.
Absolutely.
We are
Stump Hole or
Stump House.
Stump House Tunnels.
You did this today. I'm sorry.
I'm saying Stump Hole. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Stump House Tunnels in Walhalla, South Carolina.
Yeah, that's a incomplete railroad tunnel. They were building back in the 1800s, and it was originally for the Blue Ridge Railroad, but they never completed it. And what's fascinating is this is a historical site, a park that you can actually go to. It's open to the public.
Yeah.
I think you might have to pay like a little fee for parking or whatever, but you can go in there and go in this a half a mile, 1/4 of a mile tunnel. And weird things have happened up in that tunnel, such as disembodied voices and things like that. And I'll let Jason Newman, Rabbit, take it over from there because he knows a lot about the history
He
on
did
that.
a history on it, so we'll let him tell you. And he bought new equipment just for this investigation.
Just for this investigation.
What do they call it?
Parabolic.
Parabolic mic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
But yeah, and so it was pretty much like they said. It was they were building a tunnel through here for the railway, and of course, like with any construction like that massive, there was definitely going to be some deaths. So that's pretty much all it is. Like let's see, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, like they say, you can like walk through it, and then like at one end you can like hear somebody trying to talk to you from the other end, and then be nobody there.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think with all the echoing of the tunnels and stuff, I think a parabolic mic is a great choice for something like that.
Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to hear every little thing with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and actually tell. Is it us or is it something else? And he's got the headphones and the SD card to go with it, so that we can actually record exactly what's coming through it.
And I cannot wait to try that out. Yeah.
And I like using audio recorders that have multiple microphones on one recorder that creates separate audio tracks for each microphone on the recorder, because then you can actually tell what direction it came from when you're going back and looking at it by the waveform, right? And
right.
I have had 3 cameras set up in one room, but it caught a noise only on one.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
It just makes absolutely no sense.
That's something you just can't explain.
3 cameras in one room, and I only caught it on one, and it was a bang. Why? I can't explain it. Not enough to say that it's paranormal, though, because I can't explain it. I can't say what it was. Was it? I can't explain it, so I can't put it in as paranormal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we do watch what we put in our videos because of that. Just the discrimination and some of the stuff that the other paranormal investigators put in there. It's just like, come on, man, really? So I mean, we're really careful on what we put on our videos.
Yeah.
And so we're really looking forward to these. And like I said, we're bringing new equipment, and we have some other new equipment. We just got drones.
Mm-hmm.
New night vision cameras.
Nice.
So I mean, we're definitely stepping it up and ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably carry some of my spirit dolls to some locations. There's a haunted playground here in South Carolina. I want to go try out. I'm still doing research on it,
and we're talking about bringing the Ouija board in.
Yeah.
Okay.
The playground would be awesome for the dolls, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they've said near at night, that's when you can hear the children. And it used to be like a hospital, and the hospital burned down. But get this, the opening to the basement is still there. So they just included it with the playground, which I thought was very fascinating. You can just like walk right down into it, and you can see the door and everything. It's just wild.
Wow.
It's wild. But another place we're planning on going to is Corpsewood Manor in Georgia, in North Georgia. So that's going to be really fascinating. Another one that Rabbit had pointed out to us that we need to go to. And this had to do with murders of Dr. Charles Scudder and Joseph Odom. So Scudder was also connected to Aleister Crowley. He was a member of his cult, which is it's very fascinating. But these two gentlemen built a beautiful Victorian home in the mountains of Georgia, of North Georgia, supposedly. So what was fascinating about it is that, like Rabbit was saying on our live today, that apparently someone had broken in and murdered them.
Is like home invasion gone wrong? They were a couple of people broke in, didn't know they were home. They were trying to like get the expensive stuff out, and when they were caught, they're like, all right, can't have any witnesses. Bang, bang, both are dead.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
and the thing about the house is like it's built in the woods and mountains of North Georgia. Is like it's in ruins now because it's been sitting there for so long.
Yeah.
But those stuff that's left, like those two guys actually built a house brick by brick by hand by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's one reason I want to go is like with the ones that are left, the structures that are left. I want to see if they left any type of imprint on the bricks since they actually legally. Yeah, that's what it looked like before it was went to ruins. But yeah, all those bricks on there, they touched it. Like everything on that property was built by their hands. So just want to see if anything's like left from whatever, because they were known as the gay Satanists because they were a gay couple, and I just want to see what was like what actually went down to see if they left any kind of imprint on the structures that are left.
And we did have to make sure that we had permission to be there.
Yeah.
First, which we did get confirmation on that, and now we're doing the actual fact checking. Going back and making sure did this really happen and how did it happen. And I
believe there is a biography or a story on it by a woman. I cannot remember her name, but she has written a book all about it.
Yeah, we might actually have to go to the library and go back all the way to fish tape to pull up.
Yeah, we're gonna dig really deep.
To get the hard evidence to make sure that we're giving truthful facts about what really happened.
Absolutely.
And to make sure that we're getting the responses that we get through our investigation are true.
They correlate with
dates, anything in that situation.
Yeah. We do have a question from a follower. Do you ever become so overwhelmed by a location that you have to leave?
Yes.
I will say yes. I'll say yeah. I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. The house in Chester, that 150-year-old plantation. It wasn't exactly the entire house. It was just the one room. Like it just gets so heavy in there. Just like I don't want to ever go back in that room again because of what happened in there. Like the rest of the house is fine. It was just that one room.
Certain spots. Yep.
Is Bells Isles, Virginia.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
Bells Isles, Virginia. A lot of history, Civil War, all this good stuff. But it was also known for witchcraft and Satanism and stuff like this. During the war, it was a glass factory way back in the woods and off the river. And so we went back there one night, and there was a bunch of people back there that wasn't too happy to see us. And they didn't bother us at that time, but later on, some things went down, and let's just say we ended up we got to go. We got to leave. We're not welcome here, and we have to leave now.
What is wild is in order to get to Bells Island, you have to go across a footbridge.
Yes, a body of
water. And all you have is the James River underneath. And they always have like a fireman sitting out there just in case, somebody falls in. A lot of people have been known to die of suicide jumping off the bridges there. And then across, you can actually see another part of Richmond. You can see the famous Hollywood Cemetery.
Yes.
And that's where the vampire is buried as well, too. So we got a vampire.
Which we've investigated that. But unfortunately, at that time, we were really young and we didn't have the equipment that you got today.
Yeah.
So we wasn't running around with cell phones and cameras and
but
all
they
this
just
stuff.
had some psychics go out there not even a couple of years ago to Bells Island, and it freaked them out. I mean, they talked, it's online somewhere, but they were freaked out. They were freaked out over Bells Isle, and I don't blame them. I mean, I won't go back there again at night. I can tell you that.
Honestly, Oakwood Cemetery, also known as Hellgate, Hell's one Gate. Haunted cemetery in South Carolina. I disagree. Elmwood in Columbia is the most haunted cemetery, and in Virginia, Hollywood Cemetery.
Hollywood Cemetery
is the most haunted cemetery I have ever been in my life.
Really?
Hands
I've
down.
heard about it. I've like listened to a podcast about it, and yeah, it sounds like it's crazy.
It is. We had a friend that her husband, they live out of state, and they went to a reenactment, like a Civil War reenactment, in Hollywood Cemetery. So she decides she's going to take home some flowers. And let's just say this much, that her house had 2 slaves in it. She started getting a lot of paranormal activity, yada, yada. And
Once again, that's when the witches got called in.
That's when I was called. And I told
Let's
her.
call the witches.
Who are you going to call?
Yeah.
Yeah, she called me and like at 2:00 in the morning. Luckily, I was up because I was watching movies. So, anyways, I was streaming. But anyways, so I was like, this is weird. I don't get a phone call that late at night. But she called me and she was like, look, something's really going down here. I'm scared. You know, Harmony, what do I do? And I was like, okay, what did you bring in your house? Is there any new objects? And she was like, well, I just brought this flower from the Hollywood. I said, you went to Hollywood Cemetery? And she was like, yeah. I was like, you get that plant out of your house and go burn it.
You burn it.
I told her to go burn it or throw it in some moving body of water away from that house. So she did.
Neighbor you hate, put it in their yard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were seeing figures outside of the windows. They had things just fall in the floor that shouldn't have fallen in the floor. You know, it was crazy. Knocks on the wall.
It
was wild.
From 1 to 10, paranormal haunting, even that was still what, less than a 5. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, that was the spooky stuff.
It was scary. It was scary.
Yeah, for someone to call me at 2:00 in the morning, you know, that's.
Well, still, that's to them.
Right. For them, it was a 10.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, that sounds like a 10 for anybody that hasn't dealt with it, but for us, probably.
Well, I mean, we live in a house. She's got like 15 haunted dolls and haunted boards and just.
I got a lot of medium friends who are paranormal investigators that send a lot of spirit dolls my way, and I work with them.
Maybe we're just used to it.
Yeah. We just got our recent one last year from a woman that lives in Clemson, South Carolina, and she picked it up at a yard sale in another state. I think it was a Midwest state or something. I want to say Ohio, but I'm not 100 on it. But she said she was in a paranormal group, and I saw
Stormy.
her post. Yeah, Stormy. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I don't know what to do with this doll, and she was having issues. And I told her, look, bring her to me, and I will do some investigating. And we found out who she was and who she belonged to. And I'm still in the research of actually finding the names right now that I can actually say, okay, I've got the receipts for this. But yeah, I mean, I have a whole lot of them.
We're pretty close. We're pretty sure. Her name's Tammy, and we gave her a stuffed duck, which the dog stole eventually. But anyway,
we have a
but
chihuahua.
No, that's our code word. And so we get it all the time over our spirit talker. Is duck, duck, duck. I mean, she just, and so that's how we know that that's her.
Yeah, she'll come in on the SB11 and she'll be like, duck, duck. And
wow.
We're like,
play,
and
play.
And play. Yeah, and play. But yeah,
so we know that we're talking to her when we get that word duck.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And we've gotten it on multiple devices. We've tried different devices, different apps, Necrophonics, SB11, Spirit Talker, Ghost Tube, all of them. And we've gotten the same response. Yeah, she still comes on there, and we get the
I
same
don't explain
word.
it. It just happens. But the funny thing was we went to Elmwood for a investigation one night, Elmwood Cemetery in Columbia. It was so wild. I've got her in the P.O. box. So I went to go pick her up. And I was like, well, we don't have enough time to go back to the house and then get to Columbia. And, so I was like, I'm just going to leave her.
We had to take her with us.
We had to take her with us. So it was so funny. We didn't know at the time. We just started getting duck. And I was just like,
we had no idea.
We had no idea. So when we had the investigation with her at my house and we had it outside, we started getting duck. And I looked at him and he looked at me and he was like, did that doll come to our investigation like a special guest or something. But yeah, she has shown up.
Yeah, we were there to investigate the baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
No, not the baseball.
No, not the baseball player. But we did go to Walter Kirby's grave.
Kirby.
That was a great experience.
Famous baseball player buried in South Carolina.
Newman could tell you.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, Rabbit could tell you. We were having a ball with that one.
I brought him liquor, and he loved it. And his favorite part about baseball was when they sung the national anthem. Mm-hmm. Is what he told us.
Well, he said everything.
Well, everything.
Yeah. He said everything. But what was weird about that experience was we were actually led to the grave. We couldn't find him at first. Those maps are never accurate on some of these places.
Findthegrave.com.
Right. Yep.
No.
Now they'll get you close. Don't get me wrong. They are good. They'll put you within an area, but no. I mean, the actual grave, no.
We dealt with that out in Nebraska trying to find a grave.
Wow.
We ended up driving like 3 different cemeteries and, freezing colds, a foot of snow on the ground, and we're just kind of trudging around until we found it.
Yeah, walking through the cemetery, trying to hit every row.
That's what I'm talking about. That's hardcore. That's what paranormal investigating really is.
Yep.
I mean, people don't realize, and I'm just like, man, dude, you have no idea that I spent 10 to 12 hours at this place to put up a 10-minute video of evidence.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If you get that.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky, right. But we do get some great responses.
But I mean, actual evidence and actual confirmation. I mean,
that's what
people have no idea how long we spend and the money we spend and the work that we put in. Mm-hmm. I mean, and then after we do the investigation, it's at least 4 days of going through videotape, recordings, EVPs.
Oh. That is the grueling part for me.
Getting the SD cards mixed up. Oh my God!
Yep.
Come on, now.
Wait
a minute. Which one was that one on? So I mean, just people have no idea what we actually put into this.
Yeah, we host some events, and I always tell everyone, I'm like, what you see on TV, those guys are doing 4 or 5 days to get a good 43 minutes of everything.
Yeah,
they have a production company that's going through it. If we have 5 things, say 3 cameras and 2 recorders, and you're there 10 hours, you now have 50 hours of stuff to go through.
Yep.
And they just and it's just us. It's 4 of us. We don't have a production crew, and Jason's amazing at what he does for us. And
that's awesome.
Location scouts that are finding some of the most active locations, right? Where you got the best. You got these people that are scouting all over the U.S. finding these active places that they can go in and have the best chance of finding something in a week.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska.
Yep.
trying to get anything.
We know the feeling. We're in the BFE too.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're over in Wyoming. I mean, that's anywhere for us is quite a drive, but
Oh, I love Wyoming. I've been through there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, have you? Yeah.
I mean,
it's nothing.
It is nothing.
And just keep saying that, and more people won't come here.
Yep.
So the study and the equipment and the time that we spend in our education, and so that we can provide this service. For these people,
I mean, it's a lot of research, and
I mean, sometimes people send me videos and stuff, and we're just like, I'm sorry, I love the video, but I just can't say that's paranormal. I just can't. And they're like, well, why not? And I'm just like, well, it's not that I don't believe you. And, then you want to let them down easy. And then sometimes, once in a while, you come across that great one,
Yeah.
And then that's, twice the work then. Because now you're trying to, well, is this really happening? Are these people really haunted? It's just, it's a lot of work, and it's
we do a lot of interviews, and before we even attempt to go out to the house.
I had a guy hit us up about. I was talking to him actually about Dodge truck parts. I was buying Dodge truck parts, and he said he had a.
Well, he saw our videos, and he was like,
video.
Yeah.
But still, he thought he had a Bigfoot or a cryptic experience. So I hit Jason Newman up, Rabbit. And just, it's like, okay, man, I need information, blah, blah. So I told him it was possibly a great horned owl and all this. And we got into it and got into it and got into it. And we researched. And then he hits me with, well, this happened 2 years ago. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do now? I mean, I thought this just happened. You know, I mean, the way he talked about it, he was so passionate and just, and like I said, I mean, just the more we talked, and the next thing I know, I'm like, well, dude, all the evidence is gone. I mean, if there was any evidence, what am I going to do 2 years ago?
Right.
So, I mean, yes, you got to do your homework, got to do your research, got to put in that legwork. I mean, before
we
doing
go through
any investigation.
we go through a really, I would say, a really grueling type of process. I mean, like Somerville, it took us 3 to 4 months of just only 6 months. Talking and trying to get all that information. Then we got to the interview part, and of course, you know, signing
and the
disclosures.
Paperwork. I mean, when you're going into a homeowner's house, you know, we get them to sign waivers. We're not responsible for any damage or anything that happened. All this good stuff. A lot of people don't realize, and that we have our certifications for paranormal investigating. So a lot of people don't realize. You just can't walk in somebody's house and say, I'm here to see if you got ghosts. No, I mean, there's laws. I mean, there's red tape in there too, and a lot of people don't realize that. You know, you just don't walk into somebody's house and tell them that you can help them and dealing with this, and not having some kind of degree or certification or some kind of study,
like with home inspecting and things like that, which he does.
I'm a home inspector. I've been fabricator and steel worker for over 30 years, an engineer. I have an engineering degree. She's got her demonology degree. We both have our paranormal investigating certificate. There is no degree.
There is no degree.
Let me make sure that I put that in there.
So we've worked with a lot of different people in the paranormal industry and witchcraft as well. I mean, I know a lot of good people out there. I know Donna Atkins, and like I said, you know, or Adams, actually, she's the one that did the Practical Magic movie, the first one. So I know her very closely. I've actually been to a lot of her Take the Dragon seminar. So I've been on that with her, and you know, she's taught me a lot of things, and she found me because I was reading cards online for people every day, you know, just doing a collective read, trying to help them get through their busy day and busy week ahead. So that's what I do. So
come on, let's do that. Good people. Come on, you got to pull a card.
No, I'm good.
Come on. No, dude. I'm just not.
So guys, what would you guys say for one last question for you guys? So what would you say is somebody's got a spirit in their house, some sort of entity, you know, they're thinking about reaching out. What's something they shouldn't do? You know, it's easy enough to say, you know, talk about saging and, you know, that kind of stuff. What's something that you recommend they not do if they think they have something in their house?
Do not communicate. Do not try to name it or communicate with it. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest mistake that I see as far as paranormal investigating that homeowners or the person makes with the spirit is they try to communicate with it. They try to talk to it. And you don't know what it is. You don't know if it's an entity, a shadow figure, a dark entity, a demon, or whatever religion you may be or aspect. You don't know what it is.
Do your research on your property. And if you're going to sage, unfortunately, I will say this about saging. It can only work to a certain degree. When you sage your home,
it's not getting totally rid of them. It
just keeps them away for a little while.
They hide.
But there is a process with it. There is a process, and a lot of people don't know this. And because I've grown up in a witch family, there is a process when you go to, and there's many ways to doing this, okay? But when you are cleansing a house, you don't want to use sage all the time, okay? Sage is just like, okay, I'm out of here, you know, and they'll leave. But that sage, after 2 or 3 hours, it wears off. So it's good to actually burn, like I would say frankincense or an Archangel Michael incense or anything like that to clear out your house. I say herbs like rosemary, Palo Santo is good.
Excellent.
Dragon's blood is good, but this is the thing. Okay. When you go to cleanse your house, you let it air out. But a lot of people don't realize this. Afterwards, you must turn around and you must protect your home and the process. You must put up wards, whether it's a blessed cross over the doorway, because it's like paint. When you remove paint, what do you got to do? You got to replace it. Okay. Because that energy becomes void. It becomes neutral. Okay. So you have to replace it with good energy and protection.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And
so when you send out the bad, you got to bring in the good.
You got to bring in the good.
And I don't think people understand that when you're doing that, not only are you getting rid of the bad, you're also getting rid of the good.
Exactly.
When you're saging, you're getting rid of everything, or whatever you're using and you're doing. You're
right.
getting rid of everything.
Neutralizing that energy, so where it's just like, you know.
Yep.
But the thing is I always tell people afterwards, make sure you put a cross up, or start
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
The best thing to do as well is after you cleanse a house and you put the protection up, you want to go celebrate. You want to bring in good energy. So you don't have to be a witch. You don't have to be a priest. All you have to do is have good intentions.
Have a barbecue.
Have a barbecue
night with the family.
A pizza night. Because that's replacing and that's bringing in the good energy.
So just don't run around your house, saging your house, and saying, "Okay, well, all the bad stuff's gone." No,
it's cleared out. Gone. I've aired out the house, and then
it's a couple hour process.
Yeah, it is. The house that we went to help Callie Girl, which is another investigator, we went to go help her in Rock Hill.
Yes. We assisted on the investigation.
We assisted. So Callie and I, we went in through the house and we saged it and everything. And then we blessed. And let me tell you something. And
it was about an hour. I mean, just
we had to go do the garage because inside the garage there were weird symbols that were in there. I would say it was like ceremonial symbols up on the wall that were spray painted. Before they bought the house. So we went in there and we really went from top to bottom. We opened up the doors and the windows as possible. Also, I blessed around the bed because the little boy that was in there, sweetest little boy.
Autism.
He has autism. And I went in there and while she was cleansing, I was blessing his bed. So I blessed around his bed. A lot of people don't know that, they like to hide in certain places and they love underneath the bed. So when people talk about monsters underneath the bed,
that's what they're talking about.
That's what they're really talking about.
Or in the closet or
because they use closets. And then when you were talking about the doorway earlier, you thought it was closed. Well, let me tell you something about the doorways. The doorways are actually portals as well. Not just the walls and the ceilings. This is another way for them to use to get out and in. They always have a way to get out and they always have a way to get in. Okay. So
and that's another way we use
a doorway.
Yes,
they use a doorway.
Way we use to help people.
That's why I always tell people
we can actually kind of find the room. Or find that portal, or
I can take
and help close it, or
I will take dowsing rods and I will walk through your home, and I can tell you exactly where your portals are at, and I can guarantee you where they're coming in and where we need to close it. And
the thing is pretty much everybody has them.
It's every house.
What comes through them is the
right,
question. And
right.
What do you allow through them?
Right, like mirrors and things like that. I always say, take care of your mirrors, don't let it be facing your bed, things like that, because they can see.
Never have a full-size mirror.
And to prove a point with that is back in the day when people have passed away, they would cover their mirrors. And that was one of the main reasons of why they covered their mirrors, because when someone would pass in a house, it was easy for other energies to pick up on that person who passed away. So they covered it. And in different cultures, there might be other meanings to it as well. But for me particularly, the doorways, the windows, closets, just all those type of things, you want to make sure that, if you're living in a haunted home, to make sure you take care of those areas and really cleanse them out.
For sure.
Sorry,
Yep.
did we answer your question?
You did.
Absolutely, you did.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, that was
I
great.
appreciate it.
That
That
was
was
a good-
great.
Yeah. We thank you guys for coming on tonight.
We appreciate it.
Great stuff. This right here, just cleansing. That was very thorough. That was great. Tell everyone where they can see you, your pages and stuff real quick.
You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, our new page on Instagram, and of course, Facebook. Rabbit runs a lot of the Facebook page. I'm on there as well too, but you can find us at any of those places on social media. And if you have
We're
a
pretty
question,
much on every platform we can be on.
yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more lives so people can be able to talk to their loved ones. I have a pretty good technique of bringing them through. So that's another good thing. If they need readings, whatever, they can reach out to us. Any help, we're there. We're there, and we're there for you guys too. If you ever need anything, we're absolutely there.
We appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, and all of our socials should be under the same name at Witch Division.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
you will find us. We are hitting it big on TikTok right now. People are writing me at least over 7 times a day. I mean, I'm not kidding you. My phone's been going off like crazy. So, I mean, but yeah, they are always hitting me up. They're asking me questions and, about their problems. And I'm happy to help them. We're actually looking into another case right now of a young lady who had passed away under sad circumstances. So we're in the works of that as well too.
Florida?
I'm not sure.
Ohio?
I think it's Ohio. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah. Anyone in the comments, if you have questions for them and we didn't get to those, please feel free to reach out to them. And
Yeah.
it sounds like they're
Absolutely.
more than
Yes,
happy to
please.
answer those.
Yeah,
for
if you have questions, please, we will check the comments on this
Absolutely.
post and share it out. And, we are so honored to be here tonight. So we appreciate it.
Well, we thank you very much. We did have a week ago, I posted that and you guys answered right away, and we had someone cancel on us, and it's not the first time that's happened. And we have
We
great
understand.
people
We
out there like
understand,
you that have
trust
come
us.
in to help save the day and
Yep.
get on.
Amazing
and
community. Yeah.
yeah, such
It
a great
is.
community.
We love the
Uh,
paranormal community, definitely. And like I
Yes,
said,
we have to say thank you to all the witchcraft and paranormal community. for
Paranormal
all the
Witchcraft,
support.
Tobias, I know
It
he's
has been,
watching tonight.
has
He's been
he's
been,
over
promoting
there.
everything tonight with
has
us.
been unbelievable.
Yeah.
I know
Thank
we're
you.
making new friends in a different state every week, it seems. And
Yep.
we just did again. So thank you guys very much.
We appreciate y'all.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good night. We're going to throw you in the
Blessed
green room.
Blessed
We'll
to
catch
be.
up with
Happy
you.
safe hunting,
Have
y'all.
a safe hunt,
Rabbit,
everybody.
thanks for coming on.
Wow.
There we go.
What an amazing team.
Yeah, really cool. The witchcraft side of it was interesting for me because I don't know a bunch about that stuff.
Yeah.
Raised up completely different, more traditional native stuff,
Mhm.
which kind of falls in line with that earthly type stuff, you
Yep.
know. Thank you all for asking your questions tonight. We see everyone over here. They're going to check those comments out if we didn't get to your question. Next week we have, I don't want to say her last name. I'm going to slaughter it. Nicole. Sorry, Nicole. I'll ask you next week. Everyone, you have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see y'all next week. Unraveling the Darkness would like to thank Horn Paranormal Research and Twinkle Twinkle Little Store for sponsoring our show. If you're craving more paranormal content, don't forget to check out our YouTube and Facebook channels at Way Out West Paranormal and Unraveling the Darkness. You can catch all of our episodes of Unraveling the Darkness on Apple Podcasts, Facebook, and YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe as it helps others find the show and join in on the paranormal fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, keep your lights on, stay safe, and remember, the truth is out there, and it might just be closer than you think.